Okay, so you've asked a few questions about me. So tell us about yourself and your role within STEP. Well, I'm a solicitor, owner of a practice called Mitchell Solicitors. I've been doing this practice, admitted since '92, so I've been admitted for 25 years. And I became accredited as a specialist in, when was that? It was 2013. But I've been involved in succession and estate planning for a very long time, more particularly estate planning. So I've got a particular interest in assisting parents who have children with a disability with their estate planning. And colleagues have been kind in their endorsement of my practice. I've more recently, in the last few years, been on a thing called Doyle's Guide for litigation, recently both at state level and also federally, and a new category this year on estate planning, so that's been recognised on Doyle's Guide. There's more questions here, I note. Now, the next question posed to me is, how and why did you get involved in STEP? Well, roughly over 10 years ago, I had a revenue issue, New Zealand revenue issue, tax issue. So I contacted a tax expert in New Zealand, and I noticed they had these initials after the name TEP. Found out that was a member of STEP, found out it was a worldwide organisation, and that there happened to be a branch that had just formed in Brisbane. And so I joined it because I was already practicing in that area of law. Back then, mostly in estate planning work for both simple affairs and complex affairs. There's more questions I note here. So the next question is, what is the most important thing STEP does in your opinion? Wow, that's kind of an easy one. I reckon STEP does three things really, really well. The first thing is STEP has a fantastic education program for wills and estates. We also, there's this strong collegiality, both at a local level, at a branch level. You're networking with people that are in this space, that love this space, that can encourage you in this space. And it's not just at a local level. I've discovered it's at a national level, and more recently I'm discovering it's at an international level, that degree of you're not alone in this area of law. And quite additionally, the third advantage is reputation. It actually does mean something if you're involved in STEP. What's the next question? Okay, what would you say to an early career professional who is thinking of a career in this industry? Yeah, that's a great question. I think that succession law is a great area of law. It's very people focused. There's always a story with estate planning. There's always a story about where people have been, where they're going to, and you're helping them plan for, ultimately them dropping off the twig. And also with litigation as well, there's a similar thing. It's very personal, so it's enormous people engagement, and I enjoy that. And additionally, for those of you that like to think and think deeply, it's the law is ridiculously complex with and complex problems, which means multiple solutions. So quite often there's no right answer. There are many correct answers, and so that degree of I suppose people engagement, deep thinking, intellectual engagement, and also quite separate to that for people that don't like to work 5 days, like flexible work arrangements. A practice in succession, I think, speaks very neatly to flexible work arrangements. I've got another question, I've got an answer here. So what do you feel are the main challenges facing your branch or region at the moment? Well, I've got no research on this. This is just my personal view. My personal view, and what else would it be really, is one of the big threats to lawyers in this area of law, in fact, is non-lawyers seeking to practice in succession. I've come across non-lawyers purporting to give advice on estate administration work. I've come across non-lawyers purport to do estate planning work. And if you think, well, what's the solution? Is it a big stick? Often I don't think the stick is the solution. I think education largely is the solution. These people, if we join, the more people that join STEP and start to get an appreciation that this is pretty complex stuff and that it takes years of training and learning to get very good in this area, and you never stop learning, I guess, is a take-home message too. It's very rewarding. So that's what I think STEP can do and is doing really well.